Is there order in the disorder? That's what I would like to talk about today. The chaos can sometimes overwhelm us, can't it? Which is what we're all about. We want to declutter, we don't want to add more. Overwhelm to our lives as lovely ladies, even as individuals. I mean, it's not limited to ladies, is it? And there is that whole, I think there's the chaos theory is that, on a quantum level, there is still order in the chaos. So when I draw the analogy, as I always do, towards, feng shui in your shoe closet, which is, decluttering your mind, decluttering your space so that your head space, when you get clear about what's creating the chaos, what's creating the clutter, you can start thinning things out, can't you? You can start pulling out the things that de-weeding, like de-weeding your garden, pull out the things that aren't working. But sometimes, chaos reigns and something comes in and, it's a tornado and it's turned your whole cupboard upside down, and now you've got this scenario where you're like, oh my gosh, how do I handle all of this? Which is why I do the Emotional Resilience Toolkit, because you are going to get blindsided by chaotic happenings. It's life, isn't it? It just is how it is. But in that time, I would like you to use, one of the benefits of using the Emotional Resilience Toolkit is that irrespective of what the negative emotion is, in that moment, if you do the energetic decompression like you do with the pressure pot, once you let off that excess steam, if you like, you have the capacity to then get clearer minded. The blinders come off and you can see clearly. And when you can see clearly, you can make better decisions. And when you're in that state of, if you've watched my Zen Buddha shoes on the YouTube channel, if you haven't seen that, go watch that. Because it's all about how do we retain our calm in those chaotic environments? How can you be the eye of the storm, not the storm itself? So we all have choices. What's coming up for me is that that tarot card where I think she's got her swords crossed, like that. And it's like, we think that we've only got, you're at a junction, aren't you? You're at that point where you've got to decide which way you're going to go. So you can get caught up in that whirlwind, okay, in the chaos and the craziness. And, you can be part of that crazy, or you can make a conscious decision to go, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to step out of the crazy. I'm going to step out of the chaos. I'm going to decompress, and I've given you those Emotional Resilience Toolkit tools that immediately, no matter what state you're in, will bring that down for you. And then the other thing you can do is, once you're in that zone, put your Zen Buddha shoes on, or you can just take off your shoes and just go and find a quiet place to meditate so that you can clear through the clutter, that you can find your inner Zen, so that you can see what's sitting behind the chaos. So you become the eye of the storm. And when you become the eye of the storm, you are the anchor for others to calm down as well. When you start calming yourself down, you're going to be able to be there for others that are caught up in the whirlwind, in the tornado, right? And you can't do that if you're in the tornado itself. That's just how it is. If you're flying around and you see your mate on the other side of the tornado, there's not a hell of a lot you're going to be able to do about it. But if you're centered in the eye of the storm, you might, I look at it like a tether. The wind will catch the tether, the rope, and it flies up to the person that you're wanting. Grab hold of it. Let me pull you down. Let me anchor you. Let me get you grounded, Then you throw up another one and you pull them down. You go, here you are. I am in the eye of the storm. We are in the eye of the storm. And then now with the Emotional Resilience Toolkit, you've now got the capacity to go, hey, this is how I did it. Let me show you so that you can do it. And they can start pulling other people out of the eye of the storm. Now, the storm itself, let's talk about the chaos itself. Chaos is a part of life. Tornadoes are a part of life. They will come, but they will also go, okay? And this is what I often find with my coaching. One of the techniques that I actually use is, what's it going to be like once it's finished? see yourself on the end of all of that crazy. Okay, so the chaos is always temporary. There is nothing permanent. Everything in life changes, absolutely everything. There's no exception to that rule. The only one certain thing, which is a bit depressing for some folks, is that we do pass. Energetically, we do not die. Okay, so we're in the situation where it seems like it's not going to end. It's too crazy. It's so overwhelming. With my tools, you can now manage and get yourself out of the crazy. You can now anchor yourself and you can anchor others. And when you get to that sort of spot where you can start doing that, you go, this is only temporary, And if somebody's coming at you, another thing that I love to have my guys say is, what else could this mean? What else could this mean? Because it helps you to clear through the clutter. It helps you to shift your way through and see a light at the end of the tunnel. You can go, right, okay, the chaos is just chaos. It's temporary. Sometimes it lingers, like the pandemic that lingered for like 3 years. But the thing is, it comes to an end, doesn't it? It does come to an end. And you just have to know that in the crazy, there's a purpose. There is something, and we may not know what that is. But like the chaos theory in quantum, I think it's quantum physics that talks about it. You'd have to check it out, to be honest. But I do know it's a scientific thing where they talk about there's order in the disorder, that eventually things start settling down. So if you, what are those, what's a really great, I wish I could remember what I won't remember the name of the videos, but when you have clocks, what's going in my mind, those little metal balls that are all in a row, and that if you let go of the one, it sends the current through to the other, and then it goes up, and eventually they all start swinging. Okay, well, originally they were all static, weren't they? And one got the motion going. Now there's another really interesting video, you might want to look it up on YouTube, just synchronized clocks, I think I typed in the one time. And it was quite an old video, but it was how they have a whole rows and rows of all these like old clocks, not the modern digital stuff, but where they set them all off at wrong times. So that tick-tock thing where it's swinging, the pendulum swinging backwards and forwards, goes at different times. And what they noticed is that after a period of time, they all sync together. So originally it's all very chaotic, isn't it? It's like the tick-tock, 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 it's all over the place. And when you start, it's like, where do I look? I'm not sure. I'm confused, which is what chaos is, right? It's like you're all over the place. The energy's all over the place. You don't know where you are in that. How do you fit in that? And if you're one of the clocks going backwards and forwards, what does that mean? And what are you going to, how's that going to pan out for you? So when you do that tick-tock, eventually what happens is they all start syncing together. And it's how the universe works. Eventually the dust will settle and will find its own rhythm. If you look at some of the engineering feats of the world, especially bridges, I think there's one in London, and I can't remember where it goes. It goes over to the Shakespearean Globe, and I remember them talking about this, that they had to build it in a special way because bridges get that sync. So when people are all walking and they're all walking and marching at a different time across a bridge, what you'll find in time is that everybody starts walking in the same motion, okay? And the bridge actually gets a swing, and they have to actually engineer the bridge so that it can handle that swing because it can really kick in, okay? So swings can be great, if they're all in sync going the right way, all right? But if the structure itself is not going to hold it, then of course that becomes an issue. So you have to have, this is what the emotional resilience toolkit stuff is all about, plus all these videos. It gives you that sustainability of like, is this my rhythm? Is this if I'm in this kind of chaos, can I get myself centered so that I don't have to, be in the crazy? Like if the swing's not your swing, then how do we step out of that swing? And how do we have our own swing, or have our own herd doing their own swing that works with you, that's more in line with your truth and your values and your systems? So it's when you start becoming aware of all of this, you can clock yourself. You can have your owl and super owl shoes on. And if you haven't watched that video, please do go and watch it. All about that observer thing. You've got to clock where you are on the system. When you're on a, it's like anything, even with project management, where are we? What, you have to do your analysis. I'm here and I want to get there. If I'm sitting down here and it's all sorts of crazy, you have to know that that's where you are. You have to have a benchmark, don't you? So you have to have a milestone from which you can work, and what is working. Do your research, have your, your Sherlock shoes on that I talk about, where investigate what's going on. Like, acknowledge, just go, I am in a chaotic moment right now. I'm feeling very unstable. Right, what can I do about that? This is not where I want to be. I'm not sure where I want to go. I don't know why this is all happening. But the only way that you're going to get that is when you take these blinders off. Don't get caught up in that tornado. So there is order in the disorder, and it does land up settling down at some stage. Once you get through it, when you accept that just is what it is, and you just have to ride that wave, that I talk about with the riding of the waves. If you've got different strategies to handle the wave ride, you can surf it, you can go under it, you can go around it, and this is what this channel is all about. It's, Vicky Jane is all about empowering you so that you can self-regulate, you can help others that you care about self-regulate and handle and navigate life in a much easier way, where you're less impacted by these negative, chaotic moments or whatever it is that's happening for you in your life, and that you can make clearer, well-balanced, well-emotionally developed decisions around where it is you actually want to go. So understand that chaos is part of life. And it's just going to be like that. And it's how you ride the chaos. How can you get through that? And the order will become clear, not always straight away. Sometimes I've had it where years later I've gone, now I understand why that happened. It wasn't at all clear at the time. But, if you've got the right glasses on, another thing, at this stage, have your observation, your super owl shoes, and glasses on. When you start observing, you go, but you have to be able to train yourself to recognize that, don't you? Anyway, I hope you found that useful. If you did, please like, share, subscribe, and I look forward to tuning in again with you probably next Monday, I think it is. Okay, thank you so much. Namaste.